Freedom, man. That's what it's all about. You've got to groove on freedom, like the good book says.
Welcome. You are listening to What on Earth is Happening. This show will discuss the topics of human consciousness, mind control, natural law, the occult, and all issues that affect the freedom of the people of Earth. What on Earth is Happening will endeavor to shine light upon the darkness of our world and to offer empowering solutions to the problems we face as humanity approaches its critical moment of choice. And now, here is your host, Mark Passio.
Welcome, one and all. You're watching What on Earth is Happening. I'm your host, Mark Passio. My website, whatonearthishappening.com. Ladies and gentlemen, government is slavery. And here on What on Earth is Happening, we are ending slavery one mind at a time. Welcome and thank you for tuning in today. Today is Sunday, April 16th, 2023. We're live here every Sunday from January through June from 3 to 5 Eastern. This is show number 270 of What on Earth is Happening, and please keep in mind that What on Earth is Happening is a show of cumulative information, so if you are a new viewer or listener to the show, you should not watch from this point. You should go back to show number 1 and listen in order at your own pace. We are going to be doing a show on updates regarding what I have been up to and doing during the process of my move and some events that I have coming up. And then we'll be taking calls for the duration of the show. And there is a small technical issue. I have to begin the call in Telegram, so just give me a moment so that people can connect in there. This will take 1 second to do. All right, excellent. The call is started. So that'll give people time to join into the call room. As you can see, I'm in a new location. I have a slightly new setup. My desk is different, so I am using a laptop on my left-hand side. So if you see me turning to view the laptop, that is the reason. Let's jump over to my announcement slides. All right, thank you to Will Keller for the great artwork as always. And again, this is show number 270 of What on Earth is Happening. We are on a 2-hour format for this season. Next season, I will most likely go back to a 3-hour format with a full production crew. We'll be basically, organizing the logistics for that and getting that set up. I want to talk about, a little bit later, or actually in a few moments, my whole move process and getting reset up here. I'm now in the outskirts of Philadelphia, in the suburbs, and the move went pretty well. So it should allow me to go back to a full production team next season of the show. But for this season, I'll be still producing here at my desk, at my new desk. And again, we're on a 6-month schedule because I'm focusing exclusively in the second half of the year on how to become the true media, which is up next to talk about. Give me one moment, folks. There we go. Okay. So, the How to Become the True Media seminar for 2023 is racing toward us. This is one that people are not going to want to miss. I'm really going to get into all the details of how you can become a content creator, put the word out to the public. Again, one of the main things that I ask people when I speak live in person anymore is, what are you doing to morally educate the public yourself? What information are you putting out there into the world that is morally educating the public? And I mean in a public way, not in a private way, just speaking to people in person. I'm talking about, what do you put out publicly, out into the world, that morally educates other human beings? This is what this seminar can prepare you to do. So this is an online technology skill sharing seminar, and it's 23 weeks long, 23 individual classes, once a week, 3-hour classes each week. And this is hosted on the Telegram platform every Monday evening from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, starting Monday, July 10th, and going all the way through till the end of the year, Monday, December 11th of 2023, for a total of 23 class sessions. There is limited seminar space available. Enrollment opened on April 1st. That was my actual moving day, where I moved the remainder of my things and came into my new home here. So I opened the seminar enrollment on midnight, April 1st. So it has been open for over 2 weeks now, and we already have some enrollments. I encourage people to enroll as early as possible. Do not wait to enroll, because you could get shut out of enrollment if I reach the number that I'm planning on cutting enrollment off at. So I don't want the amount of people in the class to become too unwieldy, because then it becomes difficult to manage the whole thing and difficult for people to interact in a group environment. So I am going to cut enrollment off at a certain number, so do not wait and get shut out of the seminar this year. Enroll now if possible. You can go to howtobecomthetruemedia.com for all the details for the approximate course curriculum on that site. And if you click to enroll, the enrollment buttons at the top and bottom of the page, that will take you over to gifts.whatonearthishappening.com, and you could complete your donation process to enroll in the seminar for 2023. I'm announcing today that I will be speaking at the Great Create, which is the Libertarian Party of Georgia convention, coming up May 12th and 13th. I believe I'm going to be speaking on, I think, the 13th. Let me check that for you. Give me a moment. Yes, I will be speaking on Saturday, May 13th. And again, this is called The Great Create. I'm not on this poster yet. I probably will be added to it. I'll be added to the website. I actually just accepted this past week to be a featured speaker at this event. So again, May 12th and 13th. It's just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, in Perry, Georgia. It's called The Great Create, and you can visit the website, thegreatcreate.org, to check it all out and check out all the other great speakers that are going to be participating in it. Now, yes, folks, this is a political convention for the Libertarian Party, and I am an anarchist. I have no political leanings. But what I am going there to do is to give a talk called Government is Slavery, where I'm going to explain that there is no moral pathway if it involves government. That government is violence, that government is coercion, that government is duress, and that ultimately government is slavery. And I think this is what more people really need to do. They need to go to the people who are fertile ground for delivering this information, that already have a mindset of freedom, and they need to take them all the way. They need to help them to go all the way by giving them the information that they need to understand true anarchy, to understand that no government is ever moral, because it is based on duress. It is based on the implied threat of violence should one not comply. And that's not a moral path, no matter how minimal it is, no matter how allegedly minimalistic it is. Minarchist, in other words. So this is what I think more anarchists, more voluntarists need to do. The people who understand that anarchy/voluntarism is the only moral pathway in life need to speak to the people who are on the fence, need to speak to the minarchists in our world, and bring them all the way over to the truth. So this is why I'm going to the Great Create. That's why I'll be speaking there. So if you're in the area around Atlanta, Perry, Georgia, again, is the city where this convention is taking place. I will be attending and tabling, and I will be speaking on May 13th. So check it out. thegreatcreate.org is the website. One of my largest seminars in person, on par with things that I've done like the Natural Law Seminar and Demystifying the Occult and Streetwise Spirituality and New Age bullshit, will be Two Masks, Same Face, The Dark Occult Origins of Nazism and Communism. I've been planning this for years. I'll finally be delivering it this year in the fall. October 21st, 2023 at the Exton Hotel and Conference Center in Exton, Pennsylvania. We'll have all the details. I'll be making a large poster for the event, putting it on the What on Earth is Happening website. And tickets will be going on sale for Two Masks, Same Face, The Dark Occult Origins of Nazism and Communism on May 1st. May 1st, 2023. Tickets will be available at whatonearthishappening.com. I'll put a button up there that links to gifts, my gifts area, where you could donate to attend live. Okay? So let's see, what's the actual day of the week? May 1st falls on a Monday. So May 1st at midnight, tickets will be going on sale for Two Masks, Same Face, The Dark Occult Origins of Nazism and Communism. Really looking forward to delivering this presentation in the fall of this year. What on Earth is Happening Donation Gifts has a new category called Technology Donations. Now, I have really great news about technology donations today. So you could see it there. I'll be leaving it in the categories, whether there is anything in there or not. And what this is it's crowdsourced funding for expensive equipment that is required for What on Earth is Happening. Now, I'm in my office, as you can see, my newly set up office, and I'll be delivering the show from this office probably for the duration of this season. Next season, I'm going to be setting up a permanent studio in this home, and probably working again with a producer. So I require a Mac Studio in order to do that, and we were doing crowdsource funding because it's an expensive item that I don't want just one person to buy. But we have actually reached the donation goal of $4,000 for this new Mac Studio for my actual permanent studio in my new home, and we have reached the goal. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone who donated, especially people who made large donations. Thank you for making this possible. I'll be ordering this Mac Studio this coming week, and hopefully it will be here, within the next week or two, and I'll be setting up the studio. Again, probably for this season, I'll probably be continuing to do the show here in the office, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Let's take it one step at a time. I'll procure the necessary equipment, and we'll see how the setup goes, and we'll see what people's availability is. Who knows? Maybe we could do it sooner, but not promising anything. But I do eventually want to go back to a multi-camera, a produced show instead of producing here at my desk. Although it's been going well producing at the desk, I think there's still higher production values and quality to the show when it's produced by a separate producer, working the software. So I could just focus on what I have to say and paying attention to delivering the content. So that's the technology donation section. Again, thank you to everyone who donated for that Mac Studio for my actual permanent setup television studio here in-house. The One Great Work Network still going strong at onegreatworknetwork.com. 70 awesome content creators. Definitely going to be adding more. 100% going to be adding at least one new content creator this coming week. So stay tuned for that. Check it out, onegreatworknetwork.com. Please make sure that you donate to all the great content creators on the One Great Work Network. My channel at band.video is at band.video/channel/Mark-Passio. I have not had the time to add many new videos. I will be making this a priority since my move is complete. I'm still unboxing a few things, but it's about 95% there, and just minor ancillary setup work needs to be done. You can see I've done a lot of setup here in the office. Set up a server room for What on Earth is Happening and One Great Work Network. Going to be working on setting up the permanent studio next. So I will be making band.video a priority, and I may even do, I'm not promising anything, but I may even do a separate, maybe a 1-hour podcast exclusively for band.video. I'll have to see what my time schedule permits, but I want to make exclusive content on band.video and not just post things that I've done in presentations or on What on Earth is Happening. I am going to do some exclusive videos for band.video, so watch for that in the future. Not right away. I want to still post more of my presentation content there for the time being, but in the future I will be doing some exclusive work at band.video. Don't Tread on Philly meets every second Wednesday of the month. This past Wednesday was an awesome meeting. I mean, it was packed in there. There were great people. I had a good time, great discussions. Awesome people turned out. So I want to thank everyone for attending. If you haven't been part of the Don't Tread on Philly happy hour that happens the second Wednesday of every month in South Philadelphia, you don't want to miss it if you're in the area. It's just an awesome event. Like I said, we had a packed room this past Wednesday night. So it's the second Wednesday of every month, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Dive, which is a bar in South Philadelphia. We meet on the second floor, and it's always free to attend. For more information, visit don'ttreadonphilly.com. And you can join the Facebook page to get event notifications there. It's just Don't Tread on Philly on Facebook. Inquire and Inspire documentary nights every third Thursday of the month at Arnold's Family Fun Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Again, if you're in the area of the suburbs somewhat northwest of Philadelphia, this is one that you don't want to miss either, because Jeff Hiphoff, who I interviewed a few weeks back, he hosts these, and he's showing some great films. This coming Thursday is going to be a documentary about Kathy O'Brien and her survival of satanic ritual abuse. So if you're in the Oaks, PA area this next Thursday, this Thursday, you don't want to miss this one, because it's an incredible story, and I'm sure there will be a great discussion following it as well. So Inquire and Inspire. Check it out, inquireandinspire.com. Arnold's Family Fun Center, third Thursday of every month in Oaks, Pennsylvania. The What on Earth is Happening IPFS project is still underway. We have 3 nodes online. We are going to be adding more. For more information, go to whatonearthishappening.ipfs. You need at least 200 megabits of upstream internet bandwidth in order to participate in the IPFS project. I will be getting back to people after things settle down here to continue to set up more IPFS nodes. I know that I've basically stalled on this project completely, but I've been moving. So now that the move is complete, I will be getting back to this as well. So if you want to help make the content that I have delivered here as part of What on Earth is Happening, all of my presentations, etc., all of the interviews that I've done, if you want to help to immortalize that information online and help to make it censorship proof, this is the project that you would want to participate in by basically hosting an IPFS node, which is basically an independent computer that serves that content out to the internet through the IPFS network. IPFS stands for Interplanetary File System. It's part of Web 3.0, which is the permanent web, the uncensorable web. So if you do want to participate and you do have at least 200 megabits or greater of upstream bandwidth, check out whatonearthishappening.com/IPFS. Fill in the form. You'll get the preliminary requirements and instructions for participation. Call into the show today at whatonearthishappening.com/call. I apologize for getting the call started late. I was busy setting up the new, setup here. And it slipped my mind to actually begin the call. The call has begun on Telegram, so you could join in on it at whatonearthishappening.com/call. We'll be taking calls for the duration of the show, essentially. I want to talk about a few things before we do that. ARC 2.0 is a tremendous opportunity for an abundance of knowledge. It's a storage drive that you purchase and send to me. I fill up with all of the data that I've collected over the years, all of the best data that I've collected over the years, I should say, and then I ship it back to you. So the ARC 2.0 drive consists of over 26,000 audio files, 9,500 books, 3,400 videos from my own personal archive of research and data gathered over the years. For this opportunity, you can visit whatonearthishappening.com/ARC for the shipping instructions, which are rigid because I want to protect your property and I need to set it up in a regimented way if I'm going to protect my time and my resources and my energy. So that's why, there is a rigid set of shipping requirements for the ARC drive. Please respect them because I'm asking out of respect for my time and my energy that you simply follow the shipping directions as presented in the PDF document that you can download at this site, whatonearthishappening.com/ARC. ARCs still come in just about every single day. It's going really well with these. We're pumping so much data out there to people, and hopefully they're becoming truly enlightened through it. So check out the ARC 2.0 drive. If you want to pick up items, hard copy items, such as the One Great Work collection drive with all of my data on it, all of my work that I've ever done, T-shirts, promotional T-shirts, flash drives, stickers, keychains, DVDs, buttons, you name it, it's all there. Gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. Great items that you could pick up to give to family members any time of the year. And folks, please remember, making donations through gifts helps continue the work that I do here and the One Great Work Network as well. So please visit gifts.whatonearthishappening.com and get some items for yourself, your friends, your family members. Gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. If instead you prefer to make a straight donation to support What on Earth is Happening and One Great Work Network, you can visit whatonearthishappening.com/donate. Many donation methods there, including Cash App, GPay, Wise, many different cryptocurrencies, and our Amazon technology wish list. The wish list has some items on it now that are required in the new space. So if people are, amenable to pick up those items, there are some there on the wish list. If people don't pick them up after a while, I'll usually just pick them up, and that's fine. But donations through technology are one way that you know where your money is going. If you donate, there is no question about what it is being used on, and the item, you basically buy the item and then have it shipped directly to me. So that's all available at whatonearthishappening.com/donate. Now, briefly, what I would like to do is, let me go over to my laptop again. Hold on one moment. Let's switch over here. I'll step out of the laptop. I want to talk about the season of sacrifice for a little while before we go to calls, because this is incredibly important information. And for people who have not basically learned about the season of sacrifice yet through my work, I like to reiterate this during this time period every year. So the occult has many different holidays during the course of the year, and they split the holidays up at equidistant points during the calendar season, the calendar year. Basically, they split the calendar into quarters with the equinoxes and the solstices. So the equinoxes are the beginnings of spring and autumn, and the solstices are the beginnings of summer and winter. And that forms a cross on the year. If it's depicted as the zodiacal houses, the 12 zodiacal houses, you could look at it as 12 months. And if you split them quarterly, then you have the equinoxes and the solstices. If you then split each of those quarters into eighths at their midpoint, you have what are the high holidays. The solstices and equinoxes are ancillary holidays. They are considered important, but less important than the four major Sabbats. They are called the lesser Sabbats. The equinoxes and solstices are referred to as the lesser Sabbats, and the greater Sabbats are the midpoints of the seasons of the year, the midpoints of the quartering of the zodiac. They are the midpoint of winter, which is known as Candlemas or Imbolc, February 2nd. The midpoint of autumn, which is Samhain or Hallowmas or Halloween, which is October 31st. The midpoint of summer, which is Lammas Day or simply Midsummer, which is August 1st. And the midpoint of spring, which is the most important one of all, which is May Day or Beltane or Walpurgisnacht, depending on the tradition that is naming it. So May Day is the midpoint of spring. Now, from the spring equinox to the midpoint of spring is called the season of sacrifice. So if you begin at the spring equinox, March 19th/20th, and then you proceed to May 1st, that approximate 40-day period is known as the season of sacrifice in the world of the dark occult. Again, dark occultism wields the knowledge of the occult world for manipulation, control, and ultimately to bring people into slavery. There is a positive side to the occult, of course, because it's simply neutral knowledge, and it's how it is used that makes a difference. It's how it is used that matters. So, of course, occult information can be used to uplift humanity and enlighten people and help them to understand how things really work in the universe. That is the light occult. When I'm talking about the season of sacrifice, I'm not talking about the light occult. I'm talking about the dark occult. I'm talking about Satanism, dark Luciferianism, the dark aspects of occult knowledge being applied for manipulation and control. The season of sacrifice is when we can expect to see mass ritual murders in order to frighten the population into giving up their rights. And they've been doing this for not just decades, not just years, not just decades, not just centuries, for thousands of years. Thousands of years this has been going on. This is what people have to understand, that this cult that runs our world is ancient. Tyranny is ancient. This has been going on since long before any of us were born, long before anyone we know was born. Millennia, okay? And what you have to understand is that they never alter their tactics because they don't have to. The public is just as stupid as it has ever been. The public is just as ill-informed as it has ever been in our world. They still don't understand the season of sacrifice. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to believe that there's a cult that runs everything. They don't want to believe that they have sick, twisted, psychopathic beliefs and practices, and that they murder countless people just to frighten other people into giving up their rights and depending on them for their protection and safety, which is nonsense. So we are smack dab in the middle of the season of sacrifice right now, and I want to point out a couple of dates that are coming up that you're really going to want to pay attention to and watch very closely, because these are the dates. First of all, they've already done several sacrifice rituals already in this very season of sacrifice in 2023, centered largely around mass shootings, and mass shootings that are also centered around gender identity, which they want to build up into a bigger and bigger divisive issue, which should not be considered a huge divisive issue. People have to let this go, stop focusing on this, and start focusing on the people who are really dividing and conquering us, and wise up and become streetwise to their methods and become streetwise to their sick religion. So the dates you're going to want to watch that they love to pull out mass killings on April 19th and April 20th. It's probably their favorite 2 days during the season of sacrifice, other than the opening of March 19th, March 22nd they love because that's Skull and Bones Day of 322, and they love May 1st itself. Sometimes April 30th, the eve of May 1st. So, you could really say there's 6 days that are really days that you want to watch. March 19th, March 22nd, April 30th into May 1st. And in the middle part, the very meat of the season of sacrifice, the most important 2 days, April 19th and April 20th. And one of the main reasons in the modern world that these 2 dates are so significant is April 19th is the beginning in earnest of the American Revolution. The shot heard around the world on Lexington Green took place April 19th of 1775. And they like to do ritual murders on the anniversary of April 19th. And that is to, symbolically, ritualistically, quote, have vengeance upon America, because the Crown swore eternal vengeance on America for the American Revolution. So you want to watch April 19th. That's coming up this Wednesday in 3 days. It's going to be a day you're going to want to definitely pay attention to for the possibility of false flag events, of ritual murders, ritual sacrificial murders. The day after it is the birthday of Adolf Hitler, who was one of their lapdogs / puppets / dark occult, order followers, who gave rise to a whole army of order followers. And, it's absolutely one of the faces of the two flip sides of the political aspects of the occult. far-right extremism, leading into fascism/Nazism. The other arm, of course, the other wing of that great bird of prey, of course, being communism, starting with Marxism/socialism and then proceeding into outright abject communism. They're both political aspects or faces of the same cult, which is, the dark occult ruling class. It's a cult without a name. People want to call it things like the Illuminati, whatever. I think it's a terrible name for it. I think it's a joke kind of a name that has become a joke in our culture. I personally hate that name because they're not enlightened, they're not illuminated, they're sewage. That's what they are. They're the lowest of all vermin. They're the lowest of all parasitic life forms. They're trash. To call them the enlightened ones is a laughing joke. The people who are truly enlightened as to real spirituality and real morality and have attained a true level of consciousness, they're the Illuminati. They're the enlightened beings, not these so-called rulers. Like I like to say, they're the ruler of nothing but the bottom of a, cesspool of a trash bin covered with slime. So why would anybody want to refer to them as Illuminati, the enlightened? They're nothing of the kind. They're just verminous trash. That's all they ever have been. You're sewage members of a death cult, and you want to refer to yourselves as like the greatest of humanity? You're garbage. You always have been. So are any of the people who follow them. So are the people who fall victim to their bullshit mind control manipulation methods. They're just dumb. They don't want to pay attention to what's really going on and see the pattern because they just don't have a lot of brightness in the mind. That's all it really comes down to. And that has to be worked. That's why the How to Become the True Media seminar is so important. It's not just about learning computers, folks. If you think that seminar is just about learning computers, you don't even understand what it is. It's a life seminar. It's a seminar about persistence. It's a seminar about how to work your mind. It's a seminar about work ethic. It's a seminar about never giving up. It's a seminar about finding what you need to do and fucking doing it. That's what it's about. It's a seminar about stopping making excuses, bullshit excuses. It's a life lesson seminar as much as it's a technology seminar. Believe that. Know it. And you'll find out if you take it. You'll find out what it will impart to you. Anyway, so this is the occult holiday calendar. Make note of it, and I'm telling you right now, watch April 19th and 20th, this Wednesday and Thursday. You're going to want to watch those dates. So I want to move to another slide briefly. Give me a moment. Let's switch back over here. I'll just move to it, the slide that I wanted to bring up. All right, let's switch back. So these are season of sacrifice, blood rituals, and dates. I made this slide back in 2017 to incorporate a lot of the events of the modern world. They start in the modern era in the 1990s, really about, 1968 with the assassination of Martin Luther King. March 19th, the IRA bombing in Belfast, Ireland, right at the beginning, at the opening. Waco, Texas massacre was on the anniversary of the American Revolution in 1993 on April 19th. And there's a whole slew of other dates. Columbine was done on Hitler's birthday. The Columbine school shootings in 1999 done on Hitler's birthday. The BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico to pollute the whole Gulf region with that oil spill was done on Hitler's birthday in 2010, April 20th. And you could just go on and on. March 22nd was the Brussels bombings in Belgium on 2016. March 22nd, the Westminster attacks in London. So the dates that I'm talking about, they're all over. It's just people have to stop trying to make excuses, stop trying to say that this is just a coincidence. No, this is a cult. This is a cult that's murdering people. all over the world every year, and you just can't see the pattern, or you don't want to see the pattern because you're a child. That's all it really comes down to. And I'm going to try not even to get upset about it. I'm just going to try to deliver the information. I'm going to try to really work on focusing in on the delivery of the information. And I'll say a lot of harsh stuff. I'm going to try not to go nuts and yell it and get really loud. But people have to wake the fuck up. You need to wake the fuck up, you know? And you need to really start paying attention and understand these people are sick, twisted, religious psychopaths with twisted religious cult beliefs, you know, and they're running shit. They're running things. And you need to get streetwise to it because you're very, very, very naive. Most of my listening audience has picked up on this. Most of my viewing audience, I hope they're not naive, but the bulk of the general population are still walking around like blindfolded, naive fucking children, let me tell you. You know? So I just wanted to, you know, get into the season of sacrifice a little bit and tell you, really be vigilant this coming Wednesday and Thursday on April 19th and 20th, because that's the days they like to really bring the big guns out and murder a lot of people. All right? So that's all I wanted to say about that, and I'll take calls for the duration of the show. So let's jump over to Telegram. Hopefully we have some people waiting in here. Looks like we do. Not many, though. So hopefully people are going to call in. If not, I'll just rant if I have to. But let's jump over to... let me get my headset on that I need to wear to take calls. Hopefully we're in good shape with people's ability to hear me. All right. Hopefully everybody can hear me in the call-in room. We're going to take calls for the duration of the show. Let's hear from Conrad. Conrad, you are live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome. Conrad, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, how are you? How are you hearing me?
There you go. You're coming in loud and clear. Good to hear from you.
Hey, yeah, great to be here. I got some delay, so I'm just going to do my best. I'm trying to work out the technical stuff.
No worries.
But what I wanted to talk about, I just dropped my video about the whole Covenant school shooting and the occult season of sacrifice in general. And I like that you started out with that because that's an obvious one right there. So
Go ahead and elaborate on your findings.
I just wanted to plug it, truthandlaw.com is my website.
Elaborate on your findings regarding it. Go ahead and give your website again. I'm sorry I spoke over you. There is a little bit of a delay. That's okay. We'll work around it.
Yeah, I'm not able to get you on Telegram, so I'm listening on YouTube and trying to get it done. But so my findings, I'll talk about it. And again, the website is truthandlaw.com. If you just scroll down, you'll see all the stuff. So the people have mentioned the 33. You know, they've mentioned the 33. I talked about that, about how people just hear 33 and they think it's the highest level of Freemasonry and that's it. And that tells you the whole thing is a hoax. That tells you crisis actors and so on and so forth. I know people are big on gematria, and you know that's a big rabbit hole too. The gematria is there, but obviously, like you've said, they require real sacrifice, right? So people will say this is all a hoax, and you got because she's got her pant leg rolled up or something like that. That tells you that this didn't occur, and people do not go into looking at all these different events and seeing that the real blood is required for these people. So they're not going to go there, and that's one of the cul-de-sacs that's holding people back from seeing they're actually killing millions of people. They've done it time and time again. They're going to continue to do this until we wake up to their methodology.
That's right. And, you know, there's not much of a sign that people are really understanding their belief system and their patterns of behavior and their methods that they bring people into fear through. It's a few and far between really understand it deeply. More people are slowly learning it, but it's not at a fast enough rate and a fast enough pace of understanding to get this out in a wide way to the general public. That's why more people have to start educating people. We need more public educators out there for all of the things about the control system. We need far more educators about objective morality and natural law. All of these things have to be really talked about in a public fashion, and people have to learn how to do that and get outside of their shell and get outside of their fear in order to do that. So, I definitely agree with you, Conrad, that not enough people understand their methods. What were some of your findings regarding that particular school shooting? And give me the location of it again. I cursorily researched this because when I hear about these things, to be quite honest anymore, I just go, and it's like, oh, there's another one. There's another one. Oh, wait a minute. It's Season of Sacrifice. Oh, right on time. Right on time, right on schedule, like clockwork. This is how brazen these people are. They're so brazen. They're like, we can do this every year and you'll never see it. That's how stupid the public is. That is what they think of the public, and they're right. Unfortunately, they are correct. The public is that stupid. But tell the viewing audience some of your own personal findings regarding that shooting that you were talking about.
So here's my big one, and this is the final one. Her last name, Aubrey Hale. It's a reference to the Hale-Bopp comet and specifically the Heaven's Gate cult. And that was on March 26th, where they committed mass suicide. 39 people, a cult led by Marshall Applewhite, whose father was a Presbyterian minister. And this Covenant school was a Presbyterian school that had a Presbyterian church in it. And March 26th, which was 26 years ago, was the mass suicide of the Heaven's Gate cult. And this is March 27th. This is the day after. And it would have happened on March 26th, but that's a Sunday, so they can't shoot up a school on a Sunday. They did it on Monday. And her last name is Hale. And the Heaven's Gate cult was when they discovered the Hale-Bopp comet. And Marshall Applewhite had this cult where the people believed that there were aliens behind it and so forth. So then 39 people, they committed mass suicide on that day, March 26th, right at the start of the cult Season of Sacrifice,
Without a doubt. I mean, like I said,
3 9-year-olds. So there's a 3-9 right there.
They put it out there in plain sight. They just are so brazen that they will do these things, and they don't even try to conceal them. Let's see. Did I get the Heaven's Gate cult suicides in Rancho Santa Fe, California? Yes, March 26, 1997. There it is, right in the middle of the list there on my own aggregated Season of Sacrifice blood rituals and dates. Right in that period from the spring equinox to the midpoint of spring on May 1st. This is the bloodletting season. They believe that they have to spill blood onto the earth, and that is what ensures that life continues and that their rule over life on this planet continues. That's their belief system in the dark occult world. This is how sick and twisted and absolutely psychopathic and what lunatics these people are. And they were basically doing, a sort of a mirrored repeat of this. What city did this recent shooting take place in? And there were a few of them, but the big one that drew a lot of the news attention. Nashville, Tennessee. That's right. Yeah. So, I don't know. What do you think, Conrad, we could do to get people to understand that this is a sick religious cult practice that is actually happening just about every year? How could we possibly wake the general public up? What would have to happen? How obvious would it have to get? Or what methods do you think we could use to get these people to pay attention and see the pattern?
Unfortunately, this isn't a great answer, but I think the best thing we've got is repetition. And I'm watching I'm watching on YouTube right now, so I'm seeing the chat. I know we don't like repetition, but that's really the best thing we got. Is repetition is how people have all gotten worked into this state of fucking ignorance. Yep. they've been getting repeated lies over and over again, and people don't like when you repeat things, but unfortunately that's the way people are going to get it. So they can get that, and maybe something will click in their head that they have to raise their level of action and their level of consciousness and their level of knowledge. So if we've got to bang our head against the wall and repeat, I think that's the best thing we got, and that's what I'm doing right now.
People will often say to me, oh, this isn't anything new. You're not going over new things. You're not presenting new material. Folks, there is nothing new. I've told people what they need to understand regarding human slavery and how to create human freedom. There's nothing new. You're not going to see any new grand revelations. We have to get the information out to the public. See, you're waiting for something that isn't coming. The apocalypse has occurred, past tense. Apocalypse means the great revealing. It doesn't mean anything negative. That's Armageddon or Ragnarok, the hammer of the gods, right? That is when, that's destruction. That's the destructive period, which we're entering. We're entering Ragnarok. We're entering the season of total annihilation, because we've failed in our mission to morally educate the population and make them fully aware and fully conscious of what's really going on. We still have the opportunity to do that. We still have the ability to do it, or I wouldn't be saying a word. People ask me all the time, do you think it's possible to turn this around? Sure it is. Absolutely possible. Will it be done is a whole separate question. Now, if you ask me, will we turn this around? Well, I don't know. That's up to the will of each individual person, each individual unit of consciousness that is alive during this time period. How will they activate their own personal will? What skill sets will they develop? Will they improve themselves? Will they improve their level of knowledge and understanding? Will they step outside of their comfort zone and fear to learn what needs to be learned, to do what needs to be done? That's a whole separate question. That involves free will. That involves personal sacrifice. That involves personal levels of discomfort that one may not want to go through. But will they conquer it? Will they conquer their own ignorance, their own apathy, their own laziness, their own cowardice? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Only each individual has the answer to that. Do I see it going in that direction? No. I don't see it going in that direction. I see people being ignorant, lazy, incompetent, careless, not really caring about improvement, certainly not doing the work. There are some. Let me qualify this. There are some, right? There's very, very few. It's a pissant, paltry few that is not good enough. It's not enough. It's not. If you know a certain amount of water is going to be necessary to put out a massive fire before it consumes an entire building, and you have this much water, you got one jug, and it's not going to put that fire out, and that's all you have, you would go, that's definitely not enough. That's done. That's where I think we're at. Could it, eventually change and turn into something that is positive and, defeats this evil? Yes, it's possible. Is it looking like we're heading in that direction? Not right now, because there's not enough effort. The effort has been not good enough. The effort has been not large enough. And that's the problem. That is the problem. And people need to hear that. It's not berating them into inaction by me saying that. It's someone telling somebody your effort has not been good enough thus far. It's a fact. It's a factual statement that others need to hear and recognize as true. And then that needs to motivate them. That negativity, in truth, needs to motivate them to change their behavior, to improve and do better. You can't keep telling somebody, oh, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. I'd be lying to you. Your effort has not been good enough, and it's going to be fucked up if that continues. That's the reason things are going to go in a fucked up direction. and I'm not talking to you, Conrad, obviously. I'm talking to the general population of people who are within the sound of my voice. You, as in the aggregate, as a whole, if you take everybody that has ever heard what I've had to say, and even just the whole world in general, into account, their effort has been a massive failure. It has not been good enough. It has not been wide scale enough. It has not been enough, period. And you can't lie to somebody and tell them it's going to just work out. No, it isn't just going to work out. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. When before the whole bullshit pandemic happened, I was telling people they're going to take our freedoms on a scale you've never seen before, and this is coming, and things are going to get worse because you're not doing enough. And then that happened. I didn't call the exact method by which they were going to do it, a health crisis, an alleged health crisis, but I called exactly what they were going to do. I told you that they were bringing those methods to instill fear and take people's rights. And it happens like clockwork because the general population isn't doing what the solution is, which is to morally educate the population and make them aware of the control system, make them aware of how absolutely sick, twisted, evil, and immoral that it is, teach them true morality, and get them to start teaching other people those things. That's the answer. That's the solution. This whole show has always presented nothing but the solution. And I still have assholes writing to me saying, you don't present any solutions, Mark. Hold on, let me give you a picture of them. I actually have an email, a video email was sent to me, right? And this video email actually contains a viewer telling me that I don't present solutions. Here it is. Check this out. Here he is.
Clown horn.
I mean, this is it, right? Yeah, there he goes. I mean, that's one of them, right? This guy here's another one that's like, Mark, you don't present any solutions, man. I mean, that's just all you just talk about are the problems, and you don't talk about solutions. It isn't like your whole show's been a solution the entire time it's been on the air, right? No, you don't mention solutions about telling people objective morality. You don't mention the solution that you got to publicly speak out and take a stand against this evil by speaking the truth and telling people what's going on. No. You don't tell anybody any solutions. Clowns. Each and every one of them. Utter clowns. It's a clown world and we're just living in it. That's it. Imagine that. My show has been nothing but a solution since day one. And there are people who will write to me and say, you don't present solutions. I did a whole fucking practical year on nothing but grassroots solutions. But see, the thing is, they get this much information. They get a sliver, a tiny little sliver that they listen to, and they don't hear what they want to hear in that sliver. When I've done so much work, you couldn't climb to the top of it. And you've listened to this tiny little paper-thin fucking sliver of it, and you think you know the totality of what I've said over the years. See, this is people who are lazy. They're lazy, they're foolish, they're incompetent, and they're just dumb, It's all it really comes down to. Yeah, let me, I was going to play the clown music, but here's what it really ultimately comes down to. It just comes down, the bottom line of all of it is just this right here. Fred Sanford said it all back in Sanford and Son TV show, and he just would say to his son when he was acting like a fool, "You just dumb, son. You just dumb." And that's all it really comes down to with most people. You just haven't learned what you need to learn. It's just pure stupidity enacted into the world. And then you want to think that you know what the answer is when you haven't done the homework, when you haven't taken in all of the knowledge. This is the main thing that it all comes down to, is most people don't have the completeness of the information that they require. That's why I tell people the number one thing that people can do to get that completeness of information is to get the ARC drive from me and go through it until you really, really, really know what's going on. Then you have the information that you could base accurate decision-making processes that you formulate in your mental, state of awareness that you've accrued from taking in that information. Then you understand what is necessary to do. Then the third step is doing it. So it's knowledge first. That's your grammar. Then logical processing upon all of that information so that you fully understand it and know what it means. Then you act rightly upon what you have come to know and understand. That's the trivium process. And most people don't have that process in hand. And they largely, the vast majority of the people who don't have the process of the trivium in hand don't have it for the reason that they don't have the step one of the trivium in place, which is the gathering of knowledge from an eclectic variety of sources of information. They don't have their grammar down. That's the main reason that they don't understand the patterns all around them that are practically smacking them in the mouth. Conrad, if you have anything else, go right ahead. If not, I'll say goodbye to you and take another call. But if you want to wrap up with anything else, go ahead and shoot.
Real quick, I'll say this. You just talked about it, is that unfortunately negative reinforcement is what gets people to take action. That's how it happened with me. I was one of these dumbasses that thought they knew everything. And then I heard you, and then you're the only person out here telling people that they're fucked up, they're lazy and cowardly, and they need to change that. And unfortunately, just like with addicts, they need to have bad things happen to them for them to change the way they act and they behave. It won't happen through a little soft love and niceties being said. It's through harsh things being said, and that's what gets people to change. And that is how people are going to change. So I'll just say it again, truthandlaw.com. Please check me out. I've got the whole covenant breakdown. It's an hour and a half. There's a lot there. Man, thank you for having me. I appreciate you taking my call.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, folks. So, Conrad, I definitely want to onboard you onto One Great Work Network, my friend. We are going to make this happen. I am just, setting up and, getting all of my things, getting all my ducks in a row, as they say. And either this week or next week, I'm going to reach out to you and we're going to get you onboarded. So I'm definitely going to onboard at least one person this week, hopefully a couple. Here's a person from One Great Work Network, Mr. Logan Hart. Logan, welcome to What on Earth is Happening.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
Can y'all hear
Yes,
me?
we can, loud and clear.
Great. No, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate that, and I'm glad to hear that you got moved, and hopefully everything went well with that, and you're all set up in your new space.
It was a laborious process, and I had a lot of help from many different people. I want to thank everybody who helped me with the move. I couldn't have done it without you guys. And it was over a few weeks that it took place. I have unboxed about 95% of things and set up about 95% of things. Again, there's just some ancillary things that have yet to be done, and I'll be working on those over the course of the next week or two. And then hopefully maybe I'll even do a little housewarming party here and invite some people out. So thank you, Logan, for asking that and for your well wishes. And the move has gone well, and it is largely complete.
Yeah, that's good. Moving always sucks, so it's good that you had some help and a little bit of time to to get it all done, not overwhelmed and everything. It's
a really different environment out here in suburban Pennsylvania. than in the city of Philadelphia. And, I'm definitely adjusting to it and, realizing there's whole different dynamics involved. I've never really had a lawn my entire life. Now I have a huge one, that I'm going to probably try to grow some food out here. It's going to be a nice environment, I think. I'm already making the adjustment pretty well, and I'm liking it so far.
That's awesome, man. So I had a topic I thought would be good to touch on
Sure.
here. I launched my weekly live show, which is going very well, a couple months back, and right after our episode that we did together.
Tell the viewers the
And
name of the show, your time slot. Give them all the information they need to tune in.
Yeah, so I'm on the Wizard Factory. That is my channel, my platform. I'm on YouTube and Odyssey and Facebook. That's where I put the live out, and I do kind of focus more on YouTube. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll get rug pulled at some point, but it is what it is. I'm definitely trying to get the best outreach to people that aren't privy to this information, but yeah, I'm live every Saturday at noon Central, so I invite anyone, to come and join in to the conversation.
Awesome.
But yesterday I had a show and I was joined by Will Keller, a good friend of mine and awesome fellow content creator, as many of you know.
Definitely.
And we got into the topic of AI, which has been a really big kind of hot button topic lately, and we wanted to kind of bring a really balanced perspective, and of course kind of talk about some of the dark side of it, but also the potential uplifting and liberating aspects to it. Particularly how you can use it to create programs and applications without knowing a single shred of coding. It could build out stuff for you. I know you're always railing about how crappy software has become, so like this will give those tools to more people to actually build quality stuff, and then also particularly using it as a tool for content creators. I've been using ChatGPT to help me write posts and copy and research for my upcoming presentation for Funnel on mind control.
Definitely.
It saves me so much time already.
Positive aspects to all technology, negative aspects to all technology. I plan on using, AI chat to generate imagery for slide presentations in the future. I'm absolutely going to use it and describe scenarios that, I might have to pay an artist to paint, or take a long time describing something to somebody, where I could write out a paragraph and have the chat AI spit something out that is perfect and can be put in the presentation, and there's no quote copyright or any resources needing to be exchanged to do it. And I don't see a problem with that. There's no problem with that morally. That's using a piece of technology that's been developed for educational purposes in a moral capacity. So everybody that thinks, it's only one direction of things, they're the same kind of people that think that the occult is all evil. No, it's knowledge, and it's what we do with it that converts it into either good or evil.
That was exactly my take on the show. I even shared one of your quotes about knowledge and just replaced the word with AI, just to get the point across, because knowledge, like anything, is just a tool. And the only way to ensure that there's not going to be that power differential is to spread it far and wide, make sure everyone has equal access to it, just like guns or anything else like that. So yeah, I think it's a real big opportunity for content creators, especially doing the one great work, to have a leg up on the competition, be ahead of the curve, and or maybe you could even incorporate or touch on that in your becoming the true media, as a tool, because it really can save you so much time. It can give you information depending on what you're looking into. But like I said, I'm doing stuff on mind control for Funnel 3. And it's given me tons of great information. Just ask it to condense the work of Fritz Springmeier, for example, and it'll give you bullet points, and you can just kind of rewrite it and put it in your own words. So really powerful tool.
I agree. I fully agree. I think that this needs to not be looked at with such fear and trepidation. Obviously, if technologies like that are used for the purposes of control and manipulation, then we have to be very concerned about it. But, the human mind can invent powerful tools, and we can use them for the right purposes. And it's about being vigilant and not letting it fully slip into the wrong hands and be used for purposes of control and manipulation, as I said. So I think that is a very balanced approach to recognize the evil that can be done with it, but to make people aware of how that technology works and use it for the right purposes and morally educate them to use it for the correct purposes. If we do that and take that balanced approach, I don't think it will be a long-term extreme problem.
Right, you can literally ask it, what's some strategies to actually bring the message of freedom to the masses in a very appealing way, and that can give you new ideas that you wouldn't have thought of before.
Right.
I'm thinking about eventually when I get some extra capital running YouTube ads to promote the channel, and that can write your whole script for you. Just stuff like that. It's a tool that should be
Logan,
used.
let me add an addendum to this and give people a little piece of insight that maybe let them think about this differently. All this is the amalgamation of human knowledge, really, right? So if it's going to be this negative, evil thing, then that is what humanity has become, right? If we even allow it to be used like that, then that's just reflecting like our mirror image back to us from the mirror, right?
It's the law of correspondence.
That's all it is. The universe is still working perfectly, right? Whether AI exists or it doesn't exist. If we're moral, we're going to receive morality back. If we're immoral, we're going to receive immorality back. It's very, very simple. The universe is a huge reflecting mirror, and it operates according to the principles of cause and effect and correspondence and many others. And it's not that hard to figure out, actually.
That's something we touched on, was this concept I came across of kind of treating it like a child, that it's looking to us as parents to model its behavior on. It's literally a learning model. It's like the more we feed it, the more it's learning and growing, just like a developing child.
We're giving it all the information that it accesses and uses, and that's all coming from us, from who we are, from what we want to put out there into the world and into a piece of technology like that. And it's ultimately going to reflect back to us what we put into it. That's all it is.
Yeah. So I encourage anyone who wants to kind of dive into this philosophically, and I think Will did a great job, as conversationally, we really got into a wide array of kind of perspectives on this. So, anyone that's got your interest piqued with this, do go check out that episode on my channel.
Definitely. Absolutely.
And appreciate you, Mark, for, taking my call today.
You got it, Logan. Thank you. Always great to hear from you, my man.
Always, man. Take care of yourself,
have a good
all
one.
right?
Bye-bye. Awesome. All right. Let's see who else is holding on the line. Let's hear from Jackie. Jackie, you are live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome.
Hi, Mark.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad, actually. A little bit of an adjustment getting set up with the show here in the new location, but I think it's going pretty smoothly overall.
That's good. I just got done with a move myself, and I know how it is. It's really stressful.
Sure.
Well, speaking of the season of sacrifice, there's something that I've been wondering about with all the documentaries on 9/11 that I've been watching on the Ark. Something I'm always curious about, I want to see what you think, is when there's actual experts all over the place with in the field of the theme that is going on with the event. What's going on in their minds? Because you would think with 9/11 that every architect and engineer and pilot would just be like, this is ridiculous. Yes. And like I always wonder, what would they have been teaching in the architecture schools back when that happened?
It is not so much that they are teaching them any different laws of physics or dynamics or mechanics or anything like that. It is purely because, let's face it, every scientist could pick apart 9/11 in an hour if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Every engineer could do it. Every pilot, as you said. Cake. Like again, I broke out old high school junior year physics textbooks and laid them out on the dining room table in my mother's home. Sat there with a scientific calculator and a tablet of paper and went to work on proving unequivocally that it couldn't have happened the way the official story presented. Proved it according to the laws of physics with just a few equations, like a couple of Newton's general laws of motion and a quadratic formula. That's it. That's all that was required. This is stuff that they teach junior year of high school. Sometimes even earlier in better high schools, you probably get stuff like that freshman and sophomore year if you're in a pretty advanced school that starts children into those levels of math and physics early. But in general, that's around junior year of high school that you get stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
So imagine professionals, at their level of knowledge and understanding of dynamics. They could pick it apart in minutes, probably. And they're not doing that. And they haven't been doing that since it occurred. So why? Is it a lack of knowledge? Is it something that they're teaching different nowadays than they were back when I was in school? No, it's not. It's 100% pure cowardice. And every one of them has to look in the mirror and just acknowledge one thing, and they should just say it out loud. You should, all of you scientists, engineers, pilots, physicists, whatever, who you won't look at something like that and say the truth about it. You should all go and look in the mirror. Go in your bedroom, and if you got a mirror in your bedroom, go in your bathroom. You probably have a medicine cabinet mirror, and go and look at yourself really, really, really deeply, and say this to yourselves: I'm a fucking coward. That's what you need to go look right in your own eyes and say right to your own face, looking in your own eyes, because it's true. It isn't that you don't know. It's that you're a cowardly piece of shit. And I'll say it right to your face. I'll say it right to their face. Right to their face. It isn't that they don't know. They're just low-life cowards, and they've always been, because they're probably the kind of left-brained eggheads that were just cowardly little, runts in school. And even if they're not those type of guys, they're still cowards to stand up to authority. They're cowards to stand up and speak out in the public because they're worried about losing money or tenure or prestige. And all that is you're just a coward deep down inside your heart and your guts. That's all it is. And guess what? People like that are just verminous pieces of trash that they don't do any good for anybody in the world. I don't care what they do. It doesn't matter what they do, what they make, what they create, what they invent. They're just low-life pieces of trash from their inception as a human being. And only internal self-shadow work can ever correct that. Nothing else can correct it. They're not working upon themselves as a being in consciousness. They think, oh, my contribution is in whatever field of endeavor I'm involved in, making money or teaching or whatever. No, it isn't. Because you're not telling the truth. That's all it comes down to. Mm-hmm. They're just cowards who won't tell the truth because they're worried about what might get taken away from them if they speak the truth. you know?
Sometimes it seems like they really believe the narrative, though. Like I had my younger sister had a doctor yelling at her like a maniac for not getting, the jab, and it did seem like.
Well, then people like that are morons. The people like that just are literal brainwashed morons who believe religiously in what they've been taught because they have such an investment in it. And again, it all comes down to money and position in life. That's all it really ever comes down to, money and station. And that tells you all you need to know about a human being. They won't do the right thing and speak the truth because of their money, prestige, and station that they've already acquired in whatever field they're already in. And that's called being a cult member. What do you think the cult members of the whole big cult that runs the world are like? They don't want to step outside of it because they already have all the power that they could ever dream of. They consider themselves in a position of rulership over other people, and they don't want to lose that, and that's what makes them verminous trash. I mean, what needs to just be said to people like that is, no, you are incorrect. You don't want to acknowledge it because you fear that you have something to lose. You're a fearful little child, and it makes you a piece of trash as a human being not to speak the truth in a moral capacity. That's all it comes down to, that they don't want to do the morally right thing and say what's true because they're trash as a human being. Nothing can undo that except them looking in the mirror, analyzing themselves from a psychological point of view, and acknowledging what a horrific human being that they are. Nothing else can do it. This is what I had to do to come out of Satanism. There was nothing anybody was going to say to me that would have changed it. I had to sit in front of the mirror and say, what a piece of garbage you are. And only until I acknowledged that I was a gigantic piece of fucking garbage could I acknowledge I'm making the world worse by how I'm behaving and thinking. By how I'm thinking, by how I'm feeling, and how I'm behaving. My thoughts, my emotions, and actions are making the world worse and worse and worse. I'm contributing to that problem. I'm part of that dynamic. That's what I had to sit in front of the mirror and say to myself to come out of it. And it was years of work. It wasn't a day of work or a week of work or a month of work. It was years of doing that. Nobody's going to come out of that in a couple of days. That's deep, intensive psychological shadow work that has to be done upon a human being by themselves. They can have help from others, but they can't do that work. Nobody can do that work for them except them. And most people will never do it. They'll die in that condition. They will consciously accept, I'm too big of a piece of dirt to do that. I will never look at those things that I'm uncomfortable with about myself, and I will die in this condition of incompleteness / ineptitude / unworthiness, however, whatever adjectives you want to slap on it, inadequacy. They know that they're all of those things, and they don't care. They want to stay there. That's what a verminous piece of human garbage is. It's just got. And if more people would just say it to people like that, we'd maybe snap more people out of that trance. But most people want to be super nice to people. They care about what they think of them. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks of me anywhere ever. I don't care. I'm going to say what's true. I don't care who it offends because it's still true. I'm still correct. I'm saying something that is factually correct and right and morally right because it's the morally right thing to do to change things for the better in other people. And I'm going to influence that change. I am not influencing negative change by saying those things. I'm influencing positive change by saying the truth about what other people are and how inadequate they are in changing themselves. more people have to do that. The problem is most people won't do it because they want peace and quiet and comfort instead of rocking the boat and having tension between people and having people maybe potentially get offended or angry or scream at them. And I don't care about any of those things. I'm simply going to say what's right and true. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm glad you do that, because I think that if you had been really sugary sweet about it in your podcast, I would have maybe still now been working at the government job I was at. And then it took somebody really telling me you're a piece of trash for me to leave. But I have known other people that I've talked to about some of these issues, and they seem to just shut me out when I'm a little bit more aggressive.
Right.
And then they seem to open up when I'm nice about it.
Yes,
So
that can happen.
I don't know, it's hard to...
There has to be a balance there. You can't totally berate somebody into submission. They're not going to respond that well to that. Agreed. However, if we're too nice and we do not put any pressure on people, which is what most people are doing now, they're not even challenging them on these things, nothing will ever change. You know, that's a huge part of the problem. So there does have to be a balance exerted there, and you know, that's up to the practitioner of influence upon others to learn that balance. And again, when I was first doing the show, I thought that I was too nice. And I obviously want people to give me a chance and listen to what I have to say. I don't want to come out of the gates, you know, swinging vicious uppercuts. But at the same time, even if you listen to show number 1, I tell people I will not be an apologist for humanity throughout this podcast series. I'm going to speak harsh truths and tell people what's really going on, and I will not be an apologist for people who are doing wrong things and not improving themselves, etc. So, you know, and again, I still feel like I was just being still overly nice to people and sort of wearing a mask and not saying the things that I really wanted to say. Then I went into a period of just swinging uppercuts all the time, you know, because of look at what happened with the world. I'm trying to tread that balance now by saying it in a more calm and just a forceful way, but not go way overboard. And it's hard. It's hard because I'm angry all the time. You know, like I said in my Sacred Gift of Anger presentation when I was, playing the Hulk from the Avengers, where Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk on command, and they were like, how did you do that? And he's like, well, that's my secret. I'm always angry. You know, we should always be angry about injustice. If we're not angry about injustice, that means we don't care about justice.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Oh, well, thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
Nice
Jackie, great points that you brought up, especially about, you know, how hard we need to go on people and know when to, you know, if they're making strides to improve, know when to, you know, take it easy on them as well. So great points. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it. And Jackie, we're also going to work on your onboarding into One Great Work Network this week as well. All right. Let's hear from... Let's hear from John. John, you are live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome. John, you're coming through very, very, very muddy. If you can get maybe closer to the microphone, it may help.
All right, I got AirPods.
There you go. That's much better. That's much better. Yeah.
Better? Okay. Hey, first of all, thank you for letting me speak. And I just want to, man, ever since I came across you, I mean, just another synchronicity. You mentioned the patterns, and I mean, it's kind of like a fun game, but at the same time, it's like, I know it's God just putting me on this path and to speaking the truth. And
isn't synchronicity like that amazing? You go from thing to thing to thing just as you need it to unfold. I mean, it's amazing when you're on that path.
Yeah, it's like you're playing Legend of Zelda for real, you know, and which leads me here. I mean, even earlier, I went outside to it's so nice outside right now, and a freaking ladybug landed on the table next to me, and I'm just like, I'm signing up to talk.
Yep.
And
there's been some beautiful spring days this season, especially here in Pennsylvania.
Time for some spring cleaning of these evil bastards running around getting away with literal murder. And so I'm chiming in today for two things. One, to ask how I can be of help and service with your situation and just spreading the truth. And I believe I can already do that. I'm already doing that with I have a YouTube channel as well.
Great.
It goes by Johnny Arcade. It's in my bio and Telegram. But
cool.
ARK, like Noah's Ark. And again, that wasn't intended initially, but just another synchronicity.
Awesome.
And I've been saying it from the get-go, like, I'm building an ark, get on the ark, and everyone laughed at Noah until the
That's right.
And with my personal situation, this is where I'm asking for help. I'm kind of at a standstill. I've been going through a divorce and custody battle with my son, and I'm 1,000% sure that my ex and her entire family are all involved in the dark cult. This all started when I was down multiple rabbit holes about witchcraft and everything else. And I was raised Catholic, devout Catholic mother, devout Catholic sister. My other sister, pretty questionable on her Christianity, and my father's hardcore Bible. And I'm kind of a mixture of everything. And the Bible is just another frickin', you know, the synchronicities. And so since I filed for divorce, it was because I noticed satanic symbols in my son's behavioral books.
Wow.
And when I brought it to my wife's attention at the time, that's when I questioned about, and I already knew she kind of dabbled in dark stuff, but I asked her straight out if she practiced witchcraft, and her response was yes. And this was after asking her if she knew, because she suffers from quote unquote bipolar. And so the years of me knowing her and then being married to her and then deciding to have children with her, I became a different man. I bottled the old self up, and I wasn't myself. I wasn't happy. I was working countless amount of hours just thinking I was living the American dream. And God had different plans for me. And so when I saw these symbols, like it's a series of books, which we had a few more. So before I even brought it to her attention, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't crazy and looking into it too much, and pulled out the other books from that series, definitely found more symbolism, and decided to bring it to her attention. And when I asked her if she knew that there was symbols in these books, her response was, of course there's satanic symbols in those books. Like, what do you want to do about it? Do you want to throw these books away? Do you want to burn the books? And I said, no, that's what Hitler did. Hitler burnt books. Like, I have a YouTube channel. Like, I can show this to people, and some people might be okay with this, but I definitely am not. And parents can use their own discernment, but if they don't know it, like, these are books that therapists would recommend to parents who are biting or hitting, and the book was called Hands Are Not for Hitting, and the cover of the book has the kid doing the 2666s like a Batman mask, and that's what I always thought. I mean, I'm the one that bought the freaking book for her. She was a preschool teacher when I met her, and I am fully convinced that the preschool she was working at, which is now under new ownership, new management, the teachers there, I mean, literally, she would tell me horror stories about how one of the teachers couldn't even read. She would make up the words in the stories because she didn't know how to read. Like things like that. One teacher like choking out another teacher, and she drove a significant amount of time to get to this school. And we had countless amount of conversations about, why don't you work closer? Even if you got less pay, you'd be home longer. You could sleep in longer. And she always fought me to it. And
see, occultism is far more widespread in general than people believe that it is, than people are even comfortable accepting that it is. my friend Jay Parker talks about this a lot, where he believes that there are millions of dark occultists worldwide. He places a pretty sizable number on it, and thinks that there are many, many more percentage-wise of their minions that are just at their beck and call and working for them. And I was even reluctant to think of it as that widespread many years ago, but I think it probably is much more widespread than any of us would like to believe. The thing we do also have to be careful about is not necessarily ascribing every aspect of the occult to the dark occult, because sometimes there is information contained within occult knowledge that is not necessarily just there for nefarious purposes. Was there anything that led you to believe that is she now your ex, or was involved in the dark aspects of the occult, not just the occult in general? Because even if someone claims that they're into witchcraft, does not necessarily mean it's a dark aspect. There's dark witchcraft and light witchcraft. It's simply knowledge that can be worked in one direction or another. Specifically, anything that led you to specifically believe that there was involvement in dark occultism?
Yes, and to add to that, since I filed for divorce in 2020, I was going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole prior to that, when I had the opportunity to work from home as an outside sales rep. And so it wasn't until I filed for divorce, and the attorney I hired, who was recommended to me by an ex that I knew, who had gained full custody of her son. I now, just seeing how everything is connected, I believe the attorney I had hired is part of it. My ex is part of it. Her family is part of it. My ex's attorney, the one who I am still currently trying to divorce, is part of it. The priest at the church that I chose for us to become parishioners at is part of it. The preschool that we signed my son up for is part of it, all because they have all literally been working against me, including the multiple I'm on my fifth judge, I believe now. And all the things that I am trying to stop, pedophilia, child trafficking, abuse, substance abuse, suicide, are all the things that they are painting me out to be. And so not only her and her family, but everyone associated with her entire family. And now I'm finding out, the louder I speak up about this and defend myself, personal friends are kind of coming out of the woodwork that I never would have thought. Literally everyone that was pretty much in my wedding on my side and theirs seems to be part of this and trying to keep it hidden.
It's very possible, that it is generational occultism. That's what you see in certain family bloodlines. You see it being basically taught and passed down generation to generation. It's an interesting story. I'd like to check out more on your YouTube channel. And, again, it brings to mind someone like Jay Parker, who has, a personal involvement in family bloodline occultism, Satanism in specific, who I'm going to try to have on the show really soon to discuss some of that stuff. So, what is your channel again?
It is Johnny Arcade. It's Jonny, Ark, like Noah's Ark, Aid, like the video games. It started out with me reviewing Lego sets and building arcades. And it has, if you go there now, you'll see that it's a majority of me. I have since started reading tarot for healing, helping people through their situations and their dark nights of the soul, and kind of helping them find their purpose.
That's definitely a good transformational tool from the positive side of the occult, to use the tarot in that capacity for shadow and healing work. John, I will definitely check out your YouTube channel, and I want to say thank you for calling in and sharing some of your story with us.
absolutely. If I could add
Sure.
one more thing just to touch base on the AI.
Yes.
After I got rid of my attorney, I started representing myself, and I've gotten more accomplished in the last 8 months representing myself by using ChatGPT to translate my words into legalese,
Right.
which has, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they offered me a job by the time this is all over.
We have to we have to
impressed
fight
with
this
this.
battle on all fronts. So it's another positive aspect to using something technology like that. So that's great. Oops, sorry, I accidentally muted you there. Go right ahead. Yeah. So yeah, you could wrap up. I said that's a good way of using technology to fight the battle on all different fronts. Well, John, thank you so much for the call, and I will definitely check out the YouTube channel and check out more about your story and some of the occult teachings that you have up there. Let's see who else is hanging on the line here. Let's hear from Andrew. Andrew, you are live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome. Andrew, go ahead and unmute your mic. There you go.
Hey, yeah. Mark.
How you doing?
Sorry about that.
No problem.
It's a pleasure to speak to you. I've been following your work now for, I want to say, since 2020. You really, I have to be honest, I'm not fully up to speed with all of your episodes. I believe I'm on the episode 97, but I had.
That's what a lot of people tell me, that they're catching up. They may have caught me in a later episode, and then they go back and start listening to the whole thing. And I think when they do that, they're going to get maximum value, and they're going to understand the full tapestry of this information.
Yeah, and I kind of branched off and went into other areas, gematria, like Conrad was talking about earlier.
Yes.
And there's so many rabbit holes.
Oh, sure.
So, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Take your time and formulate your thoughts. Whatever you want to ask about, go right ahead.
Well, before you started off talking about the show, talking about the transgenderism.
Yeah, they seem to be bringing that out into the season of sacrifice events with these, gender identity inspired related shootings. Unfortunately, it's a terrible thing to see, and it's something that people have to realize is part of their whole manipulation, and realize that they can't make this a big divisive issue, where we're fighting each other on, how people see themselves, from an identity standpoint. It's just one of the ways that they divide people, and then inject fear into the population, and then have them fight each other as a result, of all of that. They're masters at manipulating people and getting them to fight each other instead of recognizing who they are and what their beliefs and practices are. Masters at it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the thing that, obviously I was raised Christian, and thanks to your work, mostly, I've come to realize that it's the truth is more esoteric than it is one singular ideology.
Yes.
All these religions, I always tell my girlfriend, it's so funny. Excuse me. They all say, this is the way to heaven. This religion, this is the one that's going to save you. And they follow those beliefs, and they truly believe that this is what's going to get them into heaven, and that if they eat, pork, or if they eat meat, peas on it, you're damned to hell.
Things that have no bearing on true morality. This is what religion is a master system at doing. It's a master system formulated by occultists, by dark occultists, to confuse people regarding what true objective morality is by giving them all of this ambiguous morality that does not actually align with natural law. And if you can get people believing that those are the real laws of God, if you can get people believing that the true 7 deadly sins are pride, gluttony, sloth, lust, anger, jealousy, and greed, and they don't understand that the true 7 deadly sins are murder, assault, rape, theft, trespass, coercion, and deception, then they're off on an immoral path in their entire lives. You know, how many religions have ridiculous rules and dogma that have nothing to do with real morality? You know, and then when you tell people that has nothing to do with morality, that may be a vice, that may be something that you don't really want to do all the time because it could debase you as a human being personally, but it's still a vice, you know. If you drink too much alcohol or if you do too many drugs, it's still a vice, you know. If you inject a drug into somebody else's arm that undermines their health, that's a crime, you know, especially if you do it without their consent, you know. It's like things done forced on other people without their consent, that's crime. You know, because it's violation of their rights as an individual. You know, that's why it's called violence, because it violates rights.
I left a good career with FedEx, you know, because they wanted me to have a mask slapped on my face. And I even gave them a doctor's note saying that, you know, because of my asthma, you know, it's not good for me. And they literally put me on ice for 6 months. And then when they removed the mandate, they said, come on back. And I said, did you see my note? And they said, oh, we don't need to see that anymore. You can come on back. And I said, no, you're going to look at the note. And then they fired me.
Wow.
So, hey, you know, it's the, you know, you talk about, you know, being a coward, standing up for stuff. You know, that was my moment. I could say, oh, it's just a mask. Let me just put the mask on. And then, oh, it's just a shot. Oh, it's just, no, you know, enough's enough.
That's right.
And that inner strength that, you know, you talk about, you know, that's just so important. But there was the transgender thing. I hate to go back to that. The one thing, like I said, being raised a Christian, and not really, I love the teachings, but I do not call myself a Christian anymore. But as far as that goes, I understand that, you know, if you're not hurting anybody, who cares? But the things they're pushing now, you know, people in the work from home, office work, whatever, you know, sometimes you'll get an email and someone's got pronouns in there. And it's like, oh, so am I supposed to be doing this as well? And, you know, that's where I believe it gets confusing for people. You know, and on that issue.
A big part of it is they're trying to push it upon the young that is, you know, too undeveloped to make truly informed choices regarding things like that. If people are adults, they can do whatever they want to their own bodies. I personally don't think it should be, you know, pushed or forced upon children. Certainly, that's where I would draw the line. As far as anyone's gender identity, that's their own business, you know. But I think children should be certainly left out of that. Because they have to develop naturally and then make an informed choices as an adult with what they want to do regarding anything like that. But I don't think that should be a divisive issue in our society, period. You know, it's like, you know, I have gay friends, I have transgendered friends. That's neither here nor there. All that matters is, do you understand morality? Are you a good person? Are you for freedom? Are you for other people's freedom? You know, that's all that matters to me. You know, I don't make race an issue. I don't make age an issue. I don't make, you know, nationality an issue. I don't make gender identity an issue. I don't make sexuality an issue. It's like, all that I care about is, do you understand morality? Are you a moral human being? Are you for true freedom? Do you understand that voluntarism, anarchy, these are the only true moral pathways in life, because they're not based on coercion and violence and pushing what you want other people to be like upon them, you know? That's what people have to just understand and stop getting divided and conquered, But that's what they want to do is take people into smaller and smaller and smaller boxes of identity and hold them there, and then just try to make them fight everybody else. And it's like you got to be more streetwise than that and understand this is a manipulation tactic by the occult.
Yep, and when you mentioned the kids earlier, them being the targets of it, it's. Again, I always tell my girlfriend, you have to look at the parents, right? I mean, if the parents are allowing it, then what? It's like that's the parents' job. If the parent says, okay, this is something I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them fall into a lot of the mental manipulation and then somehow think that they're doing the right thing. It's like... Right. The parent's job is to teach and protect the child till they're of age to make their own informed decisions. Most parents aren't doing that. Most parents are failing miserably at that, unfortunately. That's why they would even take their child into some sexualized location. It's like, there's no problem with sexuality. It's just, children don't really belong in that environment. It's, I would draw the line certainly there, and people should be drawing the line there, and unfortunately many of them are not. But great points, though, that you brought up. Thank you for those.
Hey, thank you so much, Mark.
Absolutely. You have a great one.
You too.
All right. Let's see if we could sneak in another couple of calls. Let's hear from... Let's hear from Ron. Ron, you're live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome.
Hey, Mark.
Yes, I can. Loud and clear. Welcome.
Oh, man. Good God. This is amazing. It's an honor to speak to you, to be perfectly honest.
Thank you.
I just wanted to tell you, man, I've been listening since 2015, and, all the times that you have gotten extremely angry and you're screaming and, it's justified anger. Yes. I just want to let you know that there's people like me and my wife who are sitting in the living room watching you on YouTube, loving every second of it. Because we have done the work. We have listened, I've listened to the Natural Law Seminar alone 8 times.
Wow.
I believe my all-time favorite is Dissidence and Duress.
That's a hard-hitting, powerful presentation if you really pay attention to it and absorb it. Yes.
Oh my God! And just the quote that you have from Sam Adams. I'm just sitting there just with chills going down my spine. Just loving every second of it. And
I agree. The anger is justified. I want to try to bring it into balance though, and sort of for my own health and staying in a good state of energy, not totally give in fully to it, and because it's easy to go ultra nuts with it,
Sure.
But again, I'm still going to say absolutely powerful and even harsh things to people in a very straightforward, hard-hitting way. Just going to try to temper it a little bit, but thank you that still resonates with you, because I've gotten it out there and had to get it out there cathartically in many cases because of what was going on in society. So I appreciate that you're able to hear that in the correct spirit.
Oh, absolutely, Mark. Yeah, I loved every second of when you were, I will burn this motherfucker to the ground. I was like, yeah, do it! Fuck him! But I just wanted to bring some humor to the show. I don't want to take up too much time, let other people talk.
Right.
But, I've been listening for a long time, brother, and I'm going to continue to. And thank you for everything you've done. I've done last year, 2020, man, when you were doing all that, I just decided, fuck it, I'm going to do the same fucking thing. And I think I have 2 friends left. I had about 20.
Well, like I said, if people aren't resonating with the truth and you're trying to give them the truth, trying to explain truth to them to help them, then they were never really friends. And maybe if they come around to it at some future point, that's what turning the other cheek is all about. If someone does come around to the truth, you say, okay, I'm glad better late than never. You came around, and we can still be on good terms. That's what the real turning the other cheek is actually about. So I'm sorry to hear that you lost friends over speaking hard truth to them, but maybe you planted some seeds and they will come around at some future point.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. Well, thanks, man. It was a pleasure and an honor to speak to you.
Ron, thank you for the call. You have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
You too.
All right, I think we can get at least one more in. Let's hear from Zena. Zena, you are live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome. Zena, go ahead and unmute. There you go.
How you doing, Mark?
Not bad. Yourself?
I'm doing great. Driving down Livernois Avenue. I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Cool.
My family immigrated here in the 70s from the Middle East.
Wow.
And I grew up, in a place and at a time where I started watching my parents, viewing war happening on the television.
Right.
Back home where we come from. I'm like, this is, And then growing up Catholic, pretty interesting.
Yeah, I hear
that. I know you do. So lots of guilty feelings that I had to kind of shake off and grow through. But anyway, I have a hard time around here finding people that are not drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak, especially
in the Detroit area in general.
Yeah.
They target major cities big time. I mean, it's like that in Philadelphia. It's like that obviously in New York and DC, in Chicago. Detroit would be no different. They have their tentacles out into the population centers more than anywhere else. Certainly more than, even suburban or certainly rural areas. That's not to say that there aren't good and bad people everywhere. It's just I hear what you're saying. It can be even difficult to locate people who are awake and aware and conscious and understanding objective morality in a city, a fully urbanized area like that. It's challenging. Have you checked any meetup groups or Eventbrite groups or things like that? Because that might help you to locate some people in your general area that are talking about these types of topics and themes.
I can't say that I have. I'm kind of new to navigating or using the internet in a more productive way instead of mindlessly, shopping or something. But so
there's something I could definitely help you with, because I can show you all about how to locate resources and things like that online. That's a big part of what I teach in how to become the true media. But my initial recommendations are just even on your smartphone. Just try to go to download the apps Meetup and Eventbrite. More people probably using Eventbrite now than Meetup, which is a little bit older, where you can just search themes. You could search for freedom or libertarian or even stuff like documentaries, and just see what's going on, what events are being held in your area or meetups held in your area. And who knows, you might find some really good events, and you might find some people that are very, into, these type of topics, and get together and, be able to work together, network with each other, and even make some friends along the way. Who knows? Did I lose you? Looks like we may have lost Xena. But Xena, if you could still hear me, that's what I would highly recommend. You know, you want to try to really get together with people in your area by finding them online. It's going to be difficult to do that just in person, randomly bumping into people. So I'll just, again, say, Eventbrite app and Meetup app, and just, put in a general theme of what you might want to meet people that you have in common. And I'm sure you'll find a meetup in your area. Let's see. We're almost out of time. Let's hear from Lloyd. Lloyd, take us out. We got 30 seconds. You have to unmute. All right. Let's go to Marta. Marta, you have 20 seconds to take us out before the title card drops. No. How about Christopher? Christopher, 15 seconds. Go.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, there's the end of the show.
All right, I'll catch you next time.
You got it. That's all the time we have for this edition of What on Earth is Happening, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, government is slavery. I'll see you right here next week.